5:30, and I'll call to order the city council committee meeting. It's nominations committee's up first, and I'll turn it over to Nick Robinson.
Thank you, Mayor. The nominations committee has 3 boards with applicants, vacancies and applicants. I'll take them in order, starting with the Airport Advisory Board. We have 1 vacancy, 3 applicants. If everyone's had a chance to look over the applications, if there's any questions, comments.
For the Airport Advisory Board, I'm familiar with 2 of these applicants. I'm not at all familiar with one. Looking at the applications, I'm just not familiar with the first one. It's an interest in flying and community service, but I don't know how much airport knowledge there is there. The second one, Paul Dickinson regularly attends board meetings, and he has volunteered the last 2 fly-ins I know he's been a volunteer. And I know York he's got a hangar out there. And has some interest in doing some things out there as well, so. Do you have any
Well,
comments?
2 of them indicate that they actively fly, which to me is a significant part of being on that board. They need to have aircraft experience, even if they don't currently own one. They need to have experience with flying and with aircraft and dealing with the things that go along with that. Those 2, with that in mind, certainly would get a nod from me before the other one would, just because of their experience. I don't know either one of those 2. I don't have any personal knowledge of them, I should say, so I don't know that one would be any better or worse than the other.
I would say that just based on how active he's been attending the board meetings and volunteering out there, then I would nominate Paul Dickinson. I'd nominate Paul Dickinson.
I'll second that.
All right. So, nomination is for Paul Dickinson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed, no opposition. So next board is CEDA, Stephenville Type B Economic Development Authority. We have 2 vacancies, and there are 4 applications. Any discussion, comments?
Well, of course, we know Mr. Baskett fairly well because we've served with him on the council.
Yes, sir.
I also know Carla and Amari, having served with Carla and then worked with Amari in several other projects as well. Mr. Harrison is a little, in my opinion, a little young. I think we need someone with more experience in the community than he has. I think it's noteworthy that he's interested enough to apply, but I think he's too young and in my opinion, inexperienced to serve in a position like that, because that is a significant role when you're talking about the economic development of the city. And because of that, I don't think I would want to consider him as a viable candidate. The other 3, I think any of them would do a good job on the board. I know that they all have experience in the community and are active in the community in a number of different ways.
Yeah. Of course, I know David is pretty well up to speed with a lot of the projects that are going on with the way he served, since he served on council up until a couple of months ago. Of course, Carla, served with Carla, know Carla well, know Amari well, known him a long time. I would say just simply because, and of course, I'll just tell you, since you're already active on Main Street.
And I thought of that. I got a phone call today asking me to apply.
Yeah, so I would say since you're already active on Main Street and y'all are collaborating with CEDA, I know, on some things, I would nominate David Baskett and Amari.
Okay, David Baskett for which place, 6?
Do we need a specific for the place? Yeah,
It's easier.
Yeah.
okay. What are the terms on this?
believe they're two-year terms.
They're two-year terms, but I just wonder if there's one that's, I know they're both
I think
partial, but,
6 would be just until 2026.
Mhm.
7 would be more like a year and a half.
okay. Then I would nominate Amari in place 6 and David Baskett in place 7.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
So the motion is to recommend the council appointing Mari Martinez in place 6, David Baskett in place 7. If there's no discussion, take a motion. Or, excuse me, sorry, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. And I need to ask, perhaps, would it be possible for them to come to the next council meeting where we take formal action on this for us to interview?
The candidates for CETA and for tourism do have to be interviewed by council.
Okay.
Prior to being appointed.
Okay, so is that acceptable if we can send them a note to get them to come to the regular council meeting
Yes.
at the first Tuesday of next month?
Yes, I will call them tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the last board then is Tourism and Visitors Advisory Board. We have one vacancy and one application. And I will note that the vacancy that we have is intended for a hotel, and the applicant does work for one of the hotels. Just throwing that out.
Okay, and this is one of the boards we set up intentionally with a variety of different participants to represent the different trades and needs of the community. And since he is an employee, well, he's a manager of the motel, I think he would be ideal in place 7. That, I think place 7 is for a hotel employee or affiliated with a hotel. So I think he would be the right one for place 7. And unless Mr. Thurman has a issue with that, I'd make the motion to appoint Joe Sanchez to place 7 on the Tourism and Visitor Bureau.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So Joe Sanchez for place 7 at the hotel. That should complete the nominations committee, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman Robinson. We will go to, turn it over to Leanne Durfee. Leanne?
Thank you, Mayor. Ashley's gonna come up and give us a little bit of a.
Hello. So I think in your packets there should be the Stephenville Historic Main Street Reimbursement Grant, something that Main Street's been working on. During the last year's budget, Main Street was approved for 15% for historic preservation. And so came up with a grant to help distribute those funds to downtown building and business owners. So just kind of seeing if y'all had any feedback or thoughts about the grant. The application itself will be an online application, but it is at the end of this so you can see what they would need to include and things.
So I guess my only question would be the top end here, 15,000, is that something that y'all settled before?
So when we created the grant, we looked at a bunch of different reimbursement grants that Main Street districts do within the state similar to our size, and a lot of them kind of capped it at that. We could move it up, we could move it lower. It just, there are options there.
There's been no amount adopted by council. That's simply.
What I really appreciated about it was that there is a scoring system, so it's not just one person makes a decision, it's just makes it to where it's, I think, more fair, more across the board, so. Does anybody else have any other questions? Does the rest of council have any other questions while we're?
What are you looking for? Do you want to move this on to the council, for
Do,
the full council?
do we need that, Jason, today?
It depends on if you want this to be more of a briefing, or if the committee feels that it's ready to move forward with it, then the committee could vote and push it to council.
I am fine with moving it on to council. I think everybody's worked hard on this, and so if I could get a motion.
Well, I'll move that it be moved to council. Be recommended to council.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Okay.
I'm sorry? Oh, okay. And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
So that will move along to council with a positive recommendation. And, okay, thank you. And now we have a presentation from, what? Yes.
Main Street.
Main Street, yes. We'll continue on with Rita Cook.
Well, thank you for having me here tonight. About 5 or 6 months ago, I went and met with Jason to get his perception of what he wanted Main Street to be doing. Because we've been active for about 5 years, and we're ready to see exactly what direction he wanted us to take it. One of those directions was this grant that you saw today. He wanted us to come up with guidelines for that. And we certainly have worked on that. But he also said it's the role of Main Street to come up with ideas or suggestions of things that we should be doing and to bring it to the council. And that's what we're going to do tonight. You have some handouts with you. We're going to talk about that. We're going to actually tonight talk about 2 different categories of funding. You heard Ashley talk about the 15% that we could take for heritage tourism. We're going to talk about that category and things that we want to do in that area. And we're also going to talk about the other hot tax dollars that can be used for museums and sporting venues and all different kinds of things like that, things that bring people into town. And so we want to talk to you tonight about making Stephenville a destination. We have activities here, but we really, besides Tarleton and some of the events that are put on, we don't have something else that makes us a destination city, and that's what we want to happen, and that's what we want to happen downtown. So I have Carla here with me tonight. We put together a quick little PowerPoint. We're going to walk you through, and then what I want to do is talk about Phase 1 and Phase 2, which is what we want to bring to you at some point in the future. So, Carla.
Rita, I have a cough, so I hope I can get through this. Rita tasked us a couple of months ago with looking at ways we could spend the money that council has graciously made available to Main Street to spend on some projects. So these are our ideas. We're mainly looking at 2 areas of downtown as we talk about this. But as we collaborated with council members and other people that are involved in downtown, we came up with ideas. It's kind of lengthy, but I'll go through it quickly. I had a staff member say to me today, "Mom, it's entirely too long." So here we go. So I know Jason saw it today. And so anyway, here we go. So the next slide, this is our vision for Stephenville. Oh, we have a button. Okay. So this is kind of how we envision the Cowboy Capital Hall of Fame or Walk of Fame looking. Right now we have bronze plaques in the sidewalk, and I don't think anybody ever even notices those. At book club today, I asked them, how many of you have been down and looked at those plaques? And none of them had. And as a former city council member, I'd never looked. When I went and looked last week, I had to find where they were. I didn't even know where they were. I didn't know if they were in the grass or on the sidewalk. So we need to do a better job. But this is what we envision so people do notice that we have a Walk of Fame there. And this is collaboration. We were looking at more murals downtown, and when I talked to Ashley from CETA, She said, you know, it doesn't have to be a mural, Carla. It can be a billboard. Now, we're not suggesting this billboard in the Walk of Fame, but if we put the statues, the bronzes there, would this not be cool outside the city limits on 281 directing people to come downtown? So Ashley's idea of using murals, not just murals, but billboards, I thought that was a great idea. So this is our, our first ask. We want to put 2 bronze benches under the arbor, one for a cowgirl, one for a cowboy. We think that brings a lot more attention to that than plaques in the sidewalk. They're expensive, but we think that it will make a difference to that plaza. This is Ashley's idea again, Ashley from CETA Fehrenbach, and I think it's a genius idea. After we talked about the benches, and I went to visit her again at CETA and said the board was excited about the benches, and she said, I have another idea. Let's do an FFA student on a bench with his blue jacket on. We've got 30 to 40,000 FFA kids a year that come to Steamville. Let's bring them downtown. Now, I have to tell you, Darren made fun of Ashley and I. He said, what are you going to do if all 30,000 of them come at once? We're going to applaud, aren't we? We're going to be real excited. I talked to an FFA mother 2 nights ago. She teared up when she saw the picture, and she said to me, I want to be the first one to donate. So I think you have some people who want to step up and donate to FFA. This is an example of the statue we'd like to do at the corner down here, a bronze statue. Darren suggested it because he said, Mom, it makes it interactive. The kids have something to do. They can climb up on that saddle. But when I talked to him the other day, it's not Darren's idea. It was Mary Waters' idea. Several years ago, she wanted to do a statue with a saddle. So this idea actually originated with Mary Waters.
And the Main Street Board.
And the Main Street Board. And going to the next slide, the Main Street Board had this idea quite some time ago. Here you see a close-up. They wanted to do a fence, so you could still add the fence so that you have lots of picture opportunities with that statue at the corner. I want to bring back, or we want to bring back the induction ceremony. Does anybody know, I didn't walk over there and look, the last time we inducted anybody into that sidewalk? I think it's been a long, long time. And if we're going to do it, we need to make a big deal out of it. It needs to be a yearly event. Weatherford just had a Main Street dinner. They probably had 200 people show up for that. We need to do something to make people excited that we're inducting somebody else into it. We need to coordinate with Cross Timbers Fine Arts, get them to do Western display during that month, maybe a street dance downtown. Coordinate it with the Western Swing Festival, the National Day of the Cowboy, the PRCA Rodeo Week. Maybe we want to coordinate it and grow Moolah Fest and have something downtown during Moolah Fest and do it during Moolah Fest.
Well, and I'll just mention, we had Jerry Norris at our last meeting. We did a coordinating council. We asked people to come from different groups, and he was really excited about this. In fact, he said when he was first appointed to the Western Heritage Committee, and I don't know how many years ago that was, that they had come up with this statute idea then, and then it just never happened. So this is something that has come back several times.
And
So,
I will say we do have a Western Heritage Advisory Board again.
Yes, we do.
And they are active, and they are currently working on their criteria for induction.
And that's great.
And moving those things forward through Ms. Durfee and then on to the council.
And this is why it's so important that all these groups collaborate so that we're all on the same page.
We are in the final stages with our application, and we'll start taking those before the end of the year.
You know,
So-
that's very cool, because I think Kaylee Pemberton mentioned that rodeo people need to be the people that are involved in making some of these decisions, because they
Absolutely.
know who are the rodeo cowboys. And so, yeah, we said to them, that's not our role.
Right.
Our role is to help you make it happen, so.
And this is just our vision of what should happen. This is kind of a roadmap for us.
It is.
So these bronzes become the first chapter of a more meaningful Cowboy Capital Walk of Fame and really recognize the rodeo champions that we want to recognize. So it's just a beginning to make that a more attractive place that tourists really want to go to. Now, this idea, as we collaborated, came from Gerald. He said, as you're making these, Carla, would you show us what a wall would look like? We only have 5 places left on the sidewalk. So after 5 places, we're out of room. So Gerald had the idea of a wall, and I absolutely love it. I put the mural in. These are famous Erath County or Steamboat cowboys in the mural. And then the plaques would start being added on the wall instead of the sidewalk since we're out of room. And to show you what that might look like, there it is in conjunction with the statue and what the wall might look like down the sidewalk. I think it's awesome. I'm so glad that Gerald had this idea of a wall. All right, the other part of town we wanted to look at, I call Hearsay Alley, you might call it Bingo Alley. Several years ago, Darrell started hosting the bingo games down there. They do it quarterly, 4 times a year. So this is what the alley looks like. You see Brady and Lisa's bar, the Hearsay bar on the corner, and they're setting up the tables for alley bingo. This is what alley bingo looks like. Have any of you been to alley bingo?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun. We draw bigger and bigger crowds. They're doing it in September. It's in conjunction with Parents Weekend. I think that's when they have their biggest crowd. We're getting Tarleton visitors in there, and that's what we want. Like, we want them to visit our downtown. This is what we envision the bingo. And by the way, the whole board, we strategized about what we would want, and we used the whiteboard, and everybody agreed. The 2 areas of town we wanted to look at were the Cowboy Plaza and the alley bingo. This is what we envision it to look like. We want to add a sign at the front of the alley and lighting on the alley to make it a place that people really want to congregate and spend time in. And again, you can see Lisa and Brady's bar there in the right on the picture. Another picture of this. This becomes a photo opportunity for people who want their picture made under that sign. We also envision murals all up and down this alley. These are just some ideas of what kind of murals you might have. A tribute to Ruth Buzzy on the side of Buzzy's. A tribute to Tarleton. I love this cowboy because he looks 3D. Baxley's was a 50-year business in Steamboat and business right there on College Street where we're talking about, from early 1900s to the 1950s. A cool vintage mural. A tribute to Starlight Drive-In. Last week when we met with other people that are interested in the downtown, somebody said, well, I think we need a mural as a tribute to Bass Reeves. So I put that mural up. Then I was playing with it day before yesterday. This one's really simple, but how cool is it to have that cat? Really simple mural, but it really stands out. Then they gave me one in Tarleton colors. When I was visiting with my sister, everybody has different ideas. She said, you know, it would really be cool if you would hide something in every mural, so you make it kind of a scavenger hunt, and people come downtown and they look for what's hidden. 15 minutes later, she said, I've got it. I'd move along. You're going to have to do the rest.
All right. In addition to this, we've been looking at other green spaces that we want to create in downtown, and we're giving you a big picture tonight. We're not going to ask for all of this right away, but we're just kind of giving you a vision of what we're looking at. You can see this is across the street from Hearsay. At some point, when the city is moved and we have that parking lot area, we think this would be a great area to make into a green space. This is another example of a mural that we think would be great downtown because it's got people that you probably know. It has Wick Keeney in there, and you see Chick Elms is listed, JJ's in there. There's just a lot of different kinds of cowboys that you might be familiar with. You see the parrot that's in the history. So these are just kinds of things that we're putting up. This we did because when we met with the mayor, I was surprised to find out, Carla already knew, but that Elvis actually performed here on July 4th in 1955 down at the rec center. And that just blew me away. I had lunch with someone in Granbury today, and she said I would come over just to have my picture made there. because he has such a following still today. So the mayor liked this, so he said, can you put that up? So we created that for you, Mayor, just in case.
I think it's the same stage there now that he was on.
I think it is. I think it is.
It is.
And it's the same stage where I heard bands while I danced all through high school. So, in fact, Gerald and I met down there. So it has a lot of memories for a lot of people. So you can see an example there if we put it down there. One of the things that's real important to know is that everything is Instagrammable now. Young people want to go to where they can take pictures, and they're always wanting selfies, and they're always wanting to share those. So that makes us successfully downtown if they have places to go. This is supposed to be a unified vision. We want all of the groups. You've got Keep Stephenville Beautiful, you've got tourism, you've got Western Heritage. We're trying to now meet with those people quarterly, so we're all working on the same page and working together, and that helps because each group brings a different talent and knowledge that maybe some of us don't have. We want one shared vision. Our goal is not to make Stephenville prettier. Isn't to make it just prettier, but it's to get people downtown and to stay downtown and come and stay the night. I see pictures all the time of my nieces that go away for a girls' weekend. And what do I see? I see pictures of them downtown with murals and things like that, taking pictures. So I think that's something that we want to do. So how much will it cost? I know that's always the question that I get at my house. So murals, we looked at some murals that have been done. Some of them that Stephanie did were like $5,000 to the boot, which was $15,000. So those are just estimates. The overhead lighting for the alley, I think Darren has done some looks into that, and that's an estimate for that. We think the bronze benches, we think it'll be more than that, but it might fall in that range, and if we get the same foundry to do everything, they'll give us a better price. And the bronze cowboy statue, I think, actually will be a little bit more than that. I mean, if we can get it for less, that's good, but I want to be realistic. And this is a project that we're talking about phasing in over a period of time. We want to get other groups involved as well. I think CETA has indicated that they are willing to be a part of this. We think that we can get donations, and we think we can get sponsorships to make it happen. Here's an idea of our economic impact. Tarleton has approximately 200,000 visitors a year. 54% of those visitors already come downtown, and if they just spend $25 each, that is an economic impact of $2,700,000 annually. If we increase that to 70%, it would go up to $3,500,000. So we're talking about economic development and approach to this. So
I think I can talk about this.
Okay.
This one last picture got my cost off. So we're excited. We hope you're excited. I put this picture in. I've been going down to Walgreens frequently, getting some of these pictures developed. The young man helping me came out and he said, "Ma'am, where did you get these pictures? These are the coolest pictures ever." And I said, well, he said, "Where downtown is this?" And I said, "Well, this is just our ideas for downtown." And he said, "Oh, that is too cool. I love it." And so then I went over to Staples to get some of these placards run off. The girl looking at it said, "You know what, this is gonna be like a mini Granbury." And I think that was meant as a compliment. I took it as a compliment. So the people we talked with are excited to see changes downtown. What I don't want is downtown to look exactly the same in 10 years that it looks like today. I want us to move forward with it.
So finally, I gave you a couple of handouts. One is a project overview that gives you some ideas that other communities are using already. And with that, you also have a sheet like this that has it's green colored, because we're actually talking about two different pockets of money here, but they're all coming from hot tax dollars. So actually, if you look at phase one on that sheet, that's the tourism enhancement, because we can enhance our downtown because it's a historic courthouse. We have one of the most beautiful courthouses around. We can use these dollars to enhance that, to make it more beautiful, to put benches out so that when people come, they can stay downtown and take pictures. You'll see in the first the first phase one on the historic heritage tourism enhancement, we're talking about doing 3 things. We want to put the FFA bench out, and we want to put it over there on the courthouse in that green area for people to sit on. We want to also do the archway, decorative archway at College Street in that alley. We want to do some of the downtown murals that we think will bring people downtown. And then we want to do some decorative alley lighting besides the overhead lights. We want to do some lamps and some things like that. I think that the Pendletons have done a great job of trying to enhance that area, but I think the comment that we got was they had hoped that the city would eventually come in and help with some of that, and I think we need to. As far as the Cowboy Walk of Fame tourism development, we're talking about phase 1. We want to go ahead and do the 2 bronze benches, and with the cowboy and cowgirl. We'd like to do the cowboy statute with the saddle and the fence, and we'd like to do a billboard on 281 advertising this, because it's really not advertised anywhere that I can find. And I guess I want to just end by saying this. The money that we're talking about for this is not money that comes out of our citizens. It comes out of the people who visit us in our community. And this is money that we have coming in. I want us to do things that make a difference long term. If we do these kinds of things long term, the benches will be there, the murals will be there, the statues will be there. We can't do everything all at once. I mean, sure, I want us to do that wall, and I want us to continue to do things with the Walk of Fame. But this will give us at least a start. And so when you look at this, we're talking about the 15% heritage tourism, that coming from that, and then we're also talking money coming just straight from hot tax for the Walk of Fame, because it is a museum, and we can use funds for museums to bring people downtown to our area. So what we want from you tonight is, we've put a lot of work into this, and this is something that we're all pretty passionate about. We want to come back to you, and we want to bring harder numbers for you to look at instead of just estimates. But we want to bring those back to you as soon as we can, and we want kind of your blessing tonight for let's move forward on this and see what we can come up with. And I think this is a legacy that you can leave to our children and our children's children, and I'm hoping that it's something that you feel is important for our community as well. Thank you. Any questions?
Great presentation, fantastic ideas, great for Stephenville. How would you go about verifying that you were putting heads in beds?
Well, what I think we're doing is, if you will look at, I gave you a handout with some different communities that are, that are already using these funds. What we're doing is we're saying we're building for the future for heads in beds. We're trying to get things in place so that people will want to come here and stay. Right now, we've just been funding kind of activities, and some of those activities really don't draw anybody but our local people. So this, we hope, we can build for the future. And if you will look, some of them already have done statutes. I looked at Bridgeport. If you look at that, they actually have they've remodeled and restored Bridgeport Stage, which is a performing center and an event revenue. Some of the others have done different kinds of projects in restoring buildings downtown. So these are all things that other communities are already doing. So yes, it's going to take a while, but unless we build it, I like that movie, Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. I think that's what we need to be doing with our money. I think that's going to help us in the long range. And I also think with all the new hotels coming in, we're going to have lots of money. So I want us to do something that's going to benefit us in the long run and that's permanent, and not just something that's spent on an event and then it's gone.
I think to answer your question, sir, you can do things like put QR codes
But that's where
next to them
I'm,
that,
Yes.
you know, maybe tell the story of the bench or whatever. And when somebody scans the QR code, you ask for a little bit of metadata from them, you know, where are you visiting us from or whatever.
well, I'd just like to have that as a part of the ongoing
Okay.
conversation, how you capture the data that you're actually putting heads in beds by spending.
And some of that we can do with, I think CETA has a software program that we can use as well that will help us catch some of that. So, yeah, that's our goal. That's what we want, but we got to be a destination for people to want to come to. So right now, I think most of the people come, they come for Tarleton events, for sports tourism, and I know that the new high school stadium brought in about $1 million economically for just playoffs, not for our home games, but just for playoffs and band events and things like that. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any more questions?
So
I
are
would
you-
just, oh,
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
So will you be bringing it, I noticed you have phase one, phase two, you're looking at phasing this in.
Yes.
So you'll end up bringing back possibly a budget for phase one that you're looking at?
Yes, that's what we can do. We'll bring phase one. We're not going to jump in and do everything, but the things that you see on that sheet are the things that we're hoping to do in phase one.
On
And
August 3rd, we have our next budget meeting
Budget
where I'm
meeting.
presenting a recommended budget to you. I have no numbers. You have all your 15% tied up in the grant program currently. So we'll need to have some conversations on that night about
Okay,
how you want to divvy some of this up.
yes, sir. I would just like to say thank you to Rita and Carla for being here tonight. I appreciate all the hard work y'all have put into this, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We love our community, so we love our downtown.
Looks great. And I like your Elvis.
I like that you had the idea because I didn't have it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. We're gonna go into executive session.
Ready to go into executive session.
You need to adjourn this meeting.
So right now, I'll adjourn the city council committee meeting. It is 6:07. And we will go into executive session. Stephenville City Council may convene into executive session on any matter related to any of the above agenda items for the purpose. Such closed session under chapter 551.
It's called the special council meeting, sir. Your next agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You have a copy of the agendas. You have a copy.
There we go. Sorry, thank you. Okay, executive session, Marilyn, you want to?
I'll call the meeting in.
Call the
You gotta
meeting
call
to
the
order.
special council meeting
All right,
order, sir.
okay, we'll call special council meeting to order. It is 6:08.
Yes, sir.
Okay, section 551-072, deliberation regarding real property to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property to wit, real property located in S4000 Groesbeck and McClellan addition and S5400 Park Place addition. 2, section 551-072, deliberation regarding real property to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property to wit, real property located at S4000 Groesbeck and McClellan addition. 3, section 551-072, deliberation regarding real property to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property to wit, real property located in S4000 Groesbeck and McClellan addition and S5400 Park Place addition. And 4, section 551-087, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations project PL. And we will adjourn. We'll adjourn. And it's 6:09. action items that we're gonna talk about tonight. We'll reconvene the special meeting at 7 o'clock. And we'll adjourn the special meeting at 7 o'clock.